Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World. There's a semantic and conversational game that often gets thrown out called Would You Rather. It usually presents an unpleasant scenario and compares it to an equally unappealing situation, such as would you rather eat a bowl of spiders or listen to Kim Kardashian narrate Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. I thought, why not compare two things that are actually good in a would you rather scenario? How about a couple of unique guitars that seem to me at the least have the same kind of vibe, and see what you, the viewers, think, and which one would you rather? I've been digging into the P90 realm of guitars, and I came up with a couple of options. If you like this channel, please hit subscribe, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and if you want to share it, well, there's a button for that as well. The two guitars I picked are the Yamaha Revstar 702B and the Novo Serus J, which have a similar vibe, at least to me, with some very unique body shapes, P90 style pickups, and some bridge systems that aren't the usual ABR1 or Fender Strat tremolo. The overall feel is that they're not beholden to any tradition or heritage in any way. Yes, they're both P90s, but certainly nowhere near a junior or a special type of guitar. They don't have that history of those pickups, but they do happen to have those. So they're kind of both doing their own thing here. Now, I have not had these specific instruments in my hands, so this is kind of a game of would you rather as a complete theoretical conversational exercise, which is kind of the whole point of the game. However, while I don't expect to eat a bowl of spiders or anything equally disgusting, I could possibly end up with one of these instruments. Now, there are some substantial and minor differences that do separate them. Starting with the Revstar, I did a review of one of these a while back, and although it was the P90 version, it was also the stoptail version. I'll put the link to that review in the area below for reference. Now, the body's a maple-topped mahogany, finished in a glossy black finish with cream binding and some matching plastic parts. The neck is 3 pieces of maple with a rosewood fingerboard and some very nice split inlays. The electronics are P90s with a volume and a tone and a 3-way blade switch. There's one sleeper feature. Pull up on the tone knob and it engages a dry switch. Some people may think this is a coil tap, but P90s are already single coils. So what it does is it engages a filter that only allows the higher frequencies out of the guitar, essentially a high pass filter, which brings in extra clarity and jangle. And it's kind of like a faux Strat or Tele type of feel when it's got P90s going with it. The neck is quite nice and chunky, and the overall feel is quite boutique with only a small Yamaha 3-tuning fork logo on the headstock. I like the idea of a Bigsby, as I also don't happen to have a guitar with one of those. But overall, Yamaha did a great job on the one I tried out, and the build quality is excellent, and the aesthetics make it feel like a boutique instrument. And as always, Yamaha always gives the player an instrument at a big value. You always get more than what you pay for. It's a quality instrument, and at $899 US, it's quite a deal. Now, the other side of this would you rather game is the Novo Serus J. I did get to play one of these a while back, and I was also really impressed with this one. The neck was quite nice, the pickups were excellent, the mastery bridge was super ultra smooth, and I don't happen to have a guitar with that type of tremolo system as well, so that would also be kind of a neat thing to have. The body was tempered pine, which had a very nice weight to it, and a tempered maple neck with a rosewood fingerboard. Again, the feel and playability was wonderful, and it had the just vibe of a broken in and yet well-crafted instrument at the same time. And being that Novo spares no expense, the electronics are all done by Emerson Electronics, and the pickups on the one I played, I believe, were done by Lawler, but I think Freylands are the standard ones offered now. Again, the build quality in the Novo was fantastic, but it was kind of offset because of the relic patina. It's still kind of a cool thing, finding a broken-in, aged guitar that plays like it's an old friend. And it was kind of a unique approach to a new instrument that feels like an old instrument. Now, there are a lot of differences that we can start off with. The Yamaha is a set neck and a scale length of 24.75. The Novo is bolt-on and it's the scale length of 25.5 inches. So there's a big feel difference right there. The Yamaha also happens to have that new off-the-rack factory quality. And the only thing I would possibly do is upgrade the pickups at some point. But I like to own a guitar for a while and get to know it before I start digging into mods, just so I get an idea of how it sounds and how I'll use it, and then figure out what it really needs after a lot of practical in the field use. More than likely, I'd probably look for a quality hum-canceling P90, maybe like Freylands. The Novo, I doubt I'd ever need to mess with anything. As you read through their specs, you say, well, okay, it's nicely done. Everything's there. The big thing would be picking out a color and patina level. The one I played was a beautiful sunburst, but I've seen a lot of their dual color finishes, and the tempered pine really lends itself to a unique aging appearance, which is kind of familiar to me. There's like a modern rustic approach that I see on old beach cottages and cabins up here in New England. The problem I've run into, however, is I bookmarked the Yamaha, and while they still have it on their website, it's not available on Sweetwater's site, and it's listed as backordered on Musician's Friend. I usually use those websites just for reference, finding out if something's available, if it's backordered, or if there's been a change to the specs. Well, what it really comes down to is, if I want this guitar new, I might be kind of screwed. However, as an alternative, I could go with Yamaha's humbucker version of this called the RS720BX. This comes with a set of regular size humbuckers. It still has a Bigsby, but I could also go with maybe putting a set of Fat Cats from Seymour Duncan, or even Seymour Duncan's P-Rails, which would give me the hum canceling qualities of a humbucker, but I'd still have a P90 as well as having a Strat, and then I'll still have a full humbucker sound in one guitar. This model also happens to have some options that aren't available on the P90 version. You can get it in black, white, and a maple-topped, blue-tinted vintage Japanese denim color. But overall, doing that might kind of defeat the purpose. It's a bit of a segue and a kind of a side road to go off on. But the P90 is what brought me to this situation, and going to a humbucking guitar and then just putting in a different set of pickups kind of doesn't really do it. It's kind of not quite. And that brings to me an issue that I have with Yamaha. It's in fact the only issue I have with Yamaha at all. They make great guitars, great basses, and amps. And when they launch a product, it always makes a splash. But I don't think they give it the time for their stuff to really get out there in the field for players to really take notice. Usually after a year or two, items kind of tend to fade away from their product catalog. And in some cases, that's how long it can take, at least what I believe, for a product to really find its value and its audience. A perfect example is their dual channel head, the THR 100D. I was amazed at this amp, and I don't think this got into enough players' hands to really become a consideration for a lot of potential users. Their DG stomp pedal was also the same deal. It seemed to outclass the Line 6 pods of the day, yet it went very quickly. But Yamaha doesn't seem to rest on their laurels, and they kind of just move on to the next thing. It may be that they don't do a crazy advertisement in social media campaign or have a mass of popular YouTubers and Instagram stars to become brand ambassadors to influence or at least bring recognition to some of their amazing stuff. I know Chris Buck is a big Revstar player and is a wonderfully relict P90 equipped gold top. But who else is on their radar guitar-wise that has that presence with Yamaha? Not really. I'm prepared to hunt down this instrument secondhand if it's been dropped from the product line, if I have to. It's a pain for sure, but it also means a possible reduced price point. The only hiccups on the Novo is the fact I don't like top-mounted jacks on guitars. It's an ugly feature, especially when it's plugged in. Even my Mustang has it, and it's just that one thing I don't like about it. Other Serus models that Novo has does happen to have a side mount jack, and I'm hoping that could possibly be an option, especially as they are a small builder and might be able to accommodate a request like that. The other concern with Novo is availability. These instruments are so sought after that they have, from what I understand at this time, a substantial back order wait time. Novo has started a Novo Select line where they make versions of their most popular configurations available for purchase, not as custom order, but they just make it and they put it out there for people to buy it on their own without any customizations or anything like that. And they still usually go very quickly. Most of them are usually gone the same day they're posted. As of 2020, Novo also went direct to the customer, eliminating their dealer network. This isn't a bad thing. I think it keeps a direct connection and better pricing to their customers and eliminates the middleman. This isn't a bad thing. Carvin has done it for decades, and Kiesel still continues this practice with a lot of success. Other custom companies sometimes work this way as well. However, it does mean just being able to try one out got a lot harder. They do happen to have a showroom in Nashville, but due to COVID, it's still closed. Now, not that I plan on flying to Nashville just to try out a guitar, but on the flip side, Novo has been even busier during the pandemic with a ton of business, and they've even been noted to not having any layoffs through this great unpleasantness, which is really cool. Let's go to the bad news, though. The cost for the Yamaha, I said, is $899, and that's kind of a deal. You do get a lot for your money. The Novo is substantially higher, but considering you may have to wait for a total custom spec instrument, it's not that bad. In fact, I bet if you spent that, the cost could easily go across the $3,000 threshold, and if you didn't bond with that guitar or find that it wasn't right for you, you could easily put it on reverb and possibly get what you paid for it, maybe even a little bit more, just because they're so popular at the moment, and that's really not a bad investment. I've done some research on custom guitars made by other manufacturers that are at the same kind of boutique or craft level type builders, and the costs are about the same, so you're certainly not overpaying or buying into any hype, considering the cost of a Fender Masterbuilt or a PRS private stock or PRS limited wood run library or a Gibson Murphy Lab. The Novo is still well below those options cost-wise, but the costs aren't really an issue for me, really. Playing guitar is pretty much my number one passion, and spending my money on that passion isn't a problem. I usually figure out a way to get the cash I need, simply saving up or liquidating other gear or doing overtime or just doing what I have to do to get what I want. I haven't made the final decision on my would you rather between these two instruments, but so far the conversation has been very interesting and very pleasant to consider. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Would you rather the Yamaha Revstar or the Novo Serus J? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, that's the video for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.